Hello beautiful people, how are you today? Today I wanted to talk about reflections because I've just been to the funeral of a beautiful soul, a 21-year-old boy called Hayden, who decided to end his life early because it all became a bit too much for him. Now young Hayden was incredibly spiritual. He may not have known it. He may not even been aware of his inner beauty. But at the funeral he requested 3 songs to be played. And these songs were all about reflecting on life. They were about looking at the big picture. They were about life beyond Earth. Now, of course, young people have a different way of expressing themselves. Perhaps for those of us who've been on the planet a long time, the type of music that they love can seem a little elaborate, can seem a little bit loud. And sometimes the message can feel a little bit real and a little bit too strong. But young Hayden chose a song called Runaway by Devlin, in which this very soulful rapper talks about his constant need for escaping from the busyness of life. The second song which was played was called A Moment of Quiet Reflection, If I Die Young. And it was almost as if young Hayden knew that his life was going to end early from a very young age. And the final song was a song called A Soul So Precious, which was essentially a lullaby turned into a modern song. Now when the people around Hayden who knew him deeply spoke about his life, they talked about how he loved the silence of nature, how he loved to get out among the trees, in the mountain, by water, because there he could find his solace, he could find the silence he needed to reflect upon life. It was there that he felt that he could really tap into the real him and not get caught up in the busyness of social media, of school, and the noise of life. And reflection and retreat are 2 elements which are very important for the spiritual soul, for the spiritual life. They help us to withdraw so we can allow ourselves to draw sustenance from the past. We can reflect upon mistakes we've made, or at least incidents in our life which have given us the opportunity to grow. Now, reflection isn't about wallowing in the past and beating yourself up. It's not about regret. It's more about forgiving yourself and seeing the gift and the opportunity to allow ourselves to blossom in life. It's one thing being very spiritual and having great awareness, but it's another thing allowing that awareness to rest, to bathe in the warm sea of reflection, to allow ourselves to see the beauty in the chaos. This will allow us to really see what's going on in our lives. It will allow us to step into that eagle perspective where we can look through the eyes of the heart and see that what we did was not make a mistake, but give ourselves an opportunity to learn and to grow, to become a better version of ourselves, to peel back the layers and the barriers that we've created so we can get deeper into our soul. And if we do that, if we go to a sacred space in nature, a place we feel comfortable, a place of great silence, a place we can hear ourselves and see our soul for what it really is, then we can unearth great natural wisdom, secrets and revelations about ourselves that we never even knew. It allows us to prioritize our inner life. People talk about getting their outer life organized, filing their bills, organizing their time. But what is even more important is to organize the interior world, the world inside our hearts, so we can see clearly now that the rain has gone. And if we don't do this, our life is relatively unlived. And even worse, it can be unloved. What we discover is a forgotten world. The world that many people block out, that they file away in their shadow and never unearth it. And these are the people who unfortunately never get to see the sun. They never get to see their spiritual side, even though every single one of us is on a spiritual journey. If we stay in this shadow place of forgetting, then life is incredibly overwhelming, and we never have that opportunity to see our true beauty, to discover the true magic in ourselves, in our hearts, in our lives, It's the adventure we never get to have. Now, this is probably 98% of the people on the planet, and I'm hoping that this percentage is going to come down in the coming years. But for these people, life is incredibly overwhelming. They know there's something, but they go in the opposite direction because they're scared of it. They're scared of the life they don't understand. They're scared of things which don't make sense, that seemingly have no logic, because spirit is so much more intelligent than human life. These people, when they blunder, they forget to pause and reflect. If they were doing a treasure hunt, they'd be missing the vital clues, which help them find the key which unlocks the door to a life where we are held by spirit on every single level. These people permanently climb up the hill and never get to free will down it. These people, sadly, never get to savor the sweetness of the past because they're too busy tied up in the bitter moment. They're too busy reflecting on the dark side, on the negative. And when you do that, you reap no harvest. You're denying yourself the opportunity to feel the sun on your face. So have a think about your life. And when you ponder the past, which bits do you ponder? Are you allowing yourself the opportunity to savor some of the sweetness? Yes, it may not have been perfect. Yes, people might have said you've made mistakes. Yes, you might beat yourself up over something because you think you should have done something else. But flip it round, because every coin has two sides. What can you learn from every single moment of your past? And if you're not sure, to take yourself into nature, into a space where you can really ponder and reflect and see what the positive aspects of that moment were, and see what you can learn. This isn't about dwelling on the past, but it's about being mindful of it, being in the now of the moment. It's what Eckhart Tolle called the power of now. And presence isn't just about being present in that present moment, it's also about looking back with an open mind and allowing the wisdom to come forth, to fill you up with beauty. It's simply observing your inner and outer environment without any expectation or personal judgment. It's about creating and tapping into the bounty of your active imagination. It's remembering to celebrate your past successes and what you've learned from your mistakes. So think about your most beautiful moments. What was the best thing that came out of yesterday? And how can you use that to make tomorrow even more beautiful? And what you'll find is this really energizes you. If you bring it into your body and into your cells, if you let your DNA become flooded with a serenity and a sweetness, there's actually no need to focus on the difficult memories. Just watch them like a stream of light. Perhaps there's a message there, but you don't need to stay in that memory because that will only take you into a negative place. And when they do come, these negative memories, just forgive yourself. That's all it's about. It's not about the other person who is involved. It's not about the incident, but it's about how you, as a soul, dealt with it. And if you can forgive yourself, if you can have gratitude for what happened, even if it is a negative thing, then you'll be able to store it away in a beautiful place instead of letting it stop you moving forward. So the process essentially is firstly to remember, then to reflect, then to forgive yourself and have gratitude for this, and then to move into a state of revelation. This is where you get that divine closure. This is where you see the gift in the shadow. Of course, every story must come to an end eventually. But if that ending also comes with a gift, a revelation, something that you learn about yourself, which will come if you spend enough time in that silent place. And when you're on this journey, I think it's really important to not file each memory in a place of good and bad, but just to accept that it's part of your past. The bad things will naturally come to an end. the moment that you bring forgiveness into the equation. And the so-called good things, well, they'll live on forever. Because the bad things turn into good things anyway when you accept the gift. When you go into that silence, into that reflection, when you give that forgiveness, when you have that gratitude. And once you've dealt with all the different aspects of your life, all the different memories, there'll become this incredible moment when even the harvesting will all be over. All your memories will be collected. All your gifts will be brought in. And all your very best thoughts, deeds and yearnings will lie in your heart. Acceptance and surrender are the key to enjoying the moment. No matter what that moment is bringing to you, you can stretch any aspect of it out to feel fuller and richer. You can allow your higher self to take charge in the here and now, because now is the only time to start making your experiences as joyful as you possibly can. So today I'm on a beach in England, in a place called Silverdale, and I have it pretty much to myself, apart from some crows and some seagulls in the sky. And as I look across the waters to the Isle of Man, to northern England, to the Lake District and to Scotland, in this moment I see the gift of the life of Hayden. He's taught me that reflection is a key part of moving forward. We can't just experience something, move on straight away, and presume that it'll never happen again. We have to pause. We have to take a sacred pause. We have to reflect. And when we get into that, so much wisdom can be extracted. And it's not a chase. It's not a hunt. It's not a search. It will come. And it will come in the form of a revelation. Where you'll go, oh, I know why that happened. I know why I was with that guy. I know why I was treated like that by that person. I know why I had that crash. I know why I was fired. It didn't feel right at the time, but now I get it. And it's like an epiphany, a revelation, where suddenly you find out the answer in the game of life. And you get to move many steps forward. And this is true of any incident in the world, even when somebody dies. I looked in the eyes of Hayden's brothers and sisters, and in a couple of them I saw them in a very present state, because they could see the beauty of Hayden's life, what he'd brought to them, his legacy, the gift he'd given them by being alive, by being in their lives. Now in moments like this it can be very easy to run away, just like the song that Hayden chose, to try and escape from this world, which isn't easy. But running away doesn't solve a problem. It hides it. And going on this spiritual journey is not about hiding. It's not a game of hide and seek. It's a game of facing the truth. And one of the best ways to do that is to go into a space of silence, to go into nature, and to just observe, to be the witness to what happened. But to stay present, not to beat yourself up, but to forgive yourself. Not to blame somebody else and point the finger, but to get into that eagle vantage point where you can see the philosophical perspective, where you can see from the eyes of love. And from this position, in that state of heart, in that heart mind, you can learn from all your ancestors. You can learn from all your lineage. You can learn from the most spiritual sages of all time, because they will help you in that state. They will give you the answers you need to move on with your life in a positive way, to learn from your mistakes. And this will allow you to glide, to make peace with every single moment, to dance in the beauty of the game of life. Now Hayden chose to end his life early. Let's all learn from his wisdom of reflection, forgiveness, revelation. And to anyone else that we meet in the street who's caught in this world of blame, of blaming themselves or other people, let's try and hold space for them. Take a deep breath with them. They don't even have to know. And send them love. And if they're willing to listen, just tell them. Take a step back. Go into a space where you feel comfortable, where you can reflect. And listen to the silence of that moment. Listen to the silence behind the noise. And see that every single moment of this world, every single moment on this planet is an opportunity. Is every single stone we stumble across, every single barrier that seems to block us, there's a diamond hidden away in it, deep in the darkness, deep in the shadow, which if we're willing to allow to come to us, we can become a greater version of ourselves. Thank you so much for listening. From Silverdale, Cumbria, in the United Kingdom, where I can see Wales, England, Scotland, and Ireland, I send you great love. Have a beautiful day. Peter. Namaste.